What's goody, y'all? Welcome to the Static Gang. If you're not here, you're here now, and that's what matters. Dragon Ball. I don't even need to introduce it. That's not even what we're here for. This, as you can see, it's not even an introductory video. I'm deciding to put some opinion on my, I guess you could say, what I think is the best fight scenes. Okay. Now, as you can see, during the grading system, it's not just a standard S, A, B, C, because that's kind of boring. Everybody does that, and no one really knows what that means. Like, your S rank could be my D rank. We obviously know that. But what makes my S rank, or what makes your S rank, you know, no one really puts like a lot of qualifications up front. Like, they talk about it, but they don't really show it in the grading system. So I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to put that, as you can see, you have the favorites is the S tier, which is basically combines everything in one. Great story is A, so that means like it's doesn't really have the greatest like cohesion, like it doesn't all go together very well, but it does have good animation and great story, but it just has a couple key things that keep it down from being an S rank in my opinion. Great animation, doesn't even have a good story, but the animation makes up for it, or it's not even a fight that's really that major, but I still appreciate it for, you know, how it looks and the choreography, angles, whatever. AMV worthy. That's even worse than great animation. That means like only like 5 seconds of it. Like there's clips. Like if you want to make an AMV, that's when this fight scene would come into play. Otherwise, you really don't include it. And honorable mentions, that's just a fight that I felt like I'm not the biggest fan of all the time, or I can't even really justify putting it in one of these categories, but it still deserves to be on my list in some way, shape, or form. So, speaking of that, first things first, we're going to put the Sea Fighters versus Nappa on that list. I'm not a big fan of a lot of these characters, but even though the fight itself, it's not one of my favorites, I still got to say that it does everything great. You know what I mean? Like, there's great stakes involved. Literally, the Saiyans come in, they're trying to kill everybody. So either you win or we all die. And then it's the first fight scene where a lot of people, they really didn't make it. Like Tien, murked. Chaozu, gone. Piccolo and Gohan had that great scene. Piccolo, murked. Gohan, he had to like, he was trying, but he wasn't really trying. And then Krillin was just in the back crying for Goku, like usual. Just like the start of that. But even though, like, I just said all that, I personally don't rock with it. So I got to put it at the bottom, but at least it's here. Now, let's see. And then we got to go with another S rank favor, right? Now, also, before we continue, I don't have a script. Usually I write a little script. I try to like write a little example of what's going to go down and what's going to happen and where everything is going, and try to give you like at least like a minute or two of description for each fight. I don't want to do that for this video, mainly because I want this to be authentic. You guys can see me if I do cuts or if I stumble, whatever else. That way it's not always so scripted and so, you know, put together. Now, I'm not just going to throw random reasons out there. Like, for example, this Broly fight, I'm about to get to why it's in the S tier in a minute, but I don't want it to always be so, you know, structured all the time. This video doesn't really need to be that way. So, why is Broly at S tier? If you see in the movie, you already know. I don't even have to try to explain it to you. Choreography, animation, coloring, lighting, angles. Now, I know I said lighting, but let's just trust me. When I tell you, if you see it, especially if you saw it in theaters, I'm telling you, come on. I don't know why I have to try to justify it being here, but I will. Like, everything about this fight, story, structures, stakes, pacing, whatever it is, S tier quality fights, in my opinion. In my opinion. Just throwing that out there. All right, so the next one on here, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a sleeper fight. Not a lot of people pay attention to it, but I'm honestly gonna put Goku versus 17 on here. Now, a lot of people, you might not really agree with me, or you might not even remember this fight, but to me, like I said, the lighting, how the characters are bathed in orange, and you have the white, I guess I'm not sure if it's a sun or a moon, it's probably a sun, in the background, showing that off, and then you have the fight scene itself. You get to see 17, a character who, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about. I'm pretty sure the writers forgot about him too. He's going toe-to-toe against Goku, and they're trying, and they're having a good fight. Like, it's not just one-sided, one person's doing all their moves, the other person's getting hit by him. No, they're both showcasing themselves off very well. It was a great way to reintroduce 17 into the story, but still actually make him do something. And then as well as the way that Goku transforms in the end, the way the dialogue is structured to where they're both not trying, but they're both trying. It's just really well done. It's probably one of my favorite fights in all of Super. Now, speaking of Super, yet again, I gotta go with Vegito, or not Vegito, Vegeta versus Goku Black. I think it was the second time. Whichever one was the one where Vegeta was like, you don't actually own this body. I don't, you know, when he does the command grab, he's like, yeah, you didn't actually work for this. That whole speech. Whatever fight that was, that's the one we're putting right here. Because Vegeta finally got to get a dub. Because if you don't remember, he lost, got his ass busted, came back. Or no, he went back in time, went to the hyperbolic time chamber. Then came back and said, nah, Goku Black, run that fade. Then you got to see him actually show some respect to Goku, or at least the work that Goku puts in, because he doesn't hate Goku as much as he used to anymore. And you got to see him actually, like, really put it to somebody. Like, it wasn't like Vegeta was losing and now he's winning all of a sudden. No, he was really putting the work on this man. So I got to put it there for that reason. Now, another super fight that I think, well, just one of the fights I think in general, I'm trying to look for it on the picture. Is it not here? Did I not? Oh, wow, that's funny. Okay, it didn't save. Well, we'll edit that at the end. So we're just going to skip that for now. We're going to go to this one. Now, I'm not... yeah, I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it there. The only reason why it's in story and not animation, because I was about to put it in animation, but I'm remembering that it actually reintroduced Kaioken into Goku's arsenal again, which a lot of people, if you're not really familiar with that move, or if you are, you might not think of it like this. He can't do it if he's not in a pure heart of state or like a calm state of mind. And Super Saiyan 1 and up originally didn't really put him in the best state of mind for that to work, as well as his body couldn't handle it. So when he got Super Saiyan Blue, you know, the key control mixed with the new levels of power, you know, when he showed that off, I was like, okay, that makes sense. That's real progression. And they brought it back. So now he can use that in addition to whatever he was doing. And Kaioken's not an end all be all. It still has the same, you know, risk. So he does it. It's still going to fuck his body up, things like that. So just for that alone, I have to put it there. Speaking of that, I got to put Goku and Vegeta versus Whis on there. I have to. Because that right there, it really foreshadows, well, it does two things for me in terms of great story. It foreshadows Goku and Vegeta's, I guess, progression into higher levels of power. Goku being Ultra Instinct, Super Saiyan Blue evolved, or as I call it, Super Vegeta Blue for Vegeta. You know, things like that. It also gets to showcase that Whis is not that guy to fuck with. Like, if he was really trying to put the pause on you not touching him. If you saw the Broly movie, this man Broly was trying to hit him and Whis was like, weave. So, honestly, Whis, it's not that, you don't want to fuck with Whis, honestly. And then it also showcased, well, it didn't really showcase, it more like told us again Goku's and Vegeta's main weaknesses, as well as their strength as well. So I like it for that aspect, as well as it's starting to show that Goku and Vegeta also trying to train together a little bit, things like that. It's just a great fight to showcase where the series can go if they actually try. Now we're gonna have to put this one right here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Goku versus Kefla, honestly, the fight itself is okay. Like, there's nothing terrible about it, but it's on my list only because that Kamehameha glide. I ain't never seen Goku do some shit like this before. And when he did that shit, I was like, yep, this is official. It's got to be one of the best ones in the series. Because Goku never moved like that. I'm telling you, no one's ever seen Goku actually do some shit like that, and it works. Like, he was just looking so graceful, so smooth, like, just smooth, like. So that little clip right there, that's why I gotta put it there. The rest of the fight is average at best, honestly. So let's see, I'm trying to look for another average at best fight. If I gotta be honest with you, now Vegeta versus Recoome. Again, a lot of people might ignore this or it's a sleeper hit, but honestly, it's got some of my best, or not best, like I drew it, some of my favorite animation of the entire series. I know that's a strong claim. It's a very strong claim, but trust me, when you really look at the way that the fight was structured, the angles, the way that Vegeta's, I guess I'm gonna call it Super Dash if you play fighters. His Super Dash arc, you can actually follow with your eyes, so it's able to, you know, you're able to travel across the screen. It shows speed, it shows his impact, things like that. And then Recoome, the way that he was fighting, and that sharp cut. So like when Recoome does the knee, it shows him smiling, and then it shows Vegeta shocked, and then it shows Recoome zooming towards him with the knee. Then Vegeta's hit. Like, the way that fight was paced, if they do more fights like that, then the show would look so much better than it is. But as it is, this got to be one of my favorite fights of all time, purely on animation. Now, story, I'm not gonna lie to you, story is kind of average, but again, that's why it's in that category, not any other one. Another animation fight, Goku versus GT, or not versus GT, sorry, Goku versus Ledgelick from GT. The only reason this is on the list because it has great animation, but there is a great YouTube video, but I think it's Core Ideas. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna put the video in the link below, where it breaks down how music can actually influence how you watch a show and interpret the show. Even if you don't realize it at the time, music really will definitely enhance, or the opposite word of enhance, I guess we're gonna say limit your enjoyment or understanding of the show. So not to parrot everything he says in that video, I'm just gonna say it's there. I watched the video, made me think of the fight a lot differently. I enjoy it more because that was the first time I ever saw it. So click on that video if you want to hear more of why I think that fight is actually a lot better than people thought it was. Another one, I gotta put Goku versus Baby. See, there's no like in between here. So I'm gonna put it on Great Story only because, to be honest, the fight itself, it's okay. Like, there's a couple cool little moments, but it's just the first time we really see Super Saiyan 4, and that's probably my favorite Super Saiyan transformation besides the first one, and I guess slash Blue, because 1 and Blue are pretty much the same thing. So the reason I put it here is, like I said, we get to see Super Saiyan 4 in action for real, and it actually gets to showcase how, at least in that show, Super Saiyan 4 is supposed to be like the top dog. The Times King Kamehameha, I almost said Kamehameha like my name is Goten. Kamehameha. I think that's the one where he did the spin around, where it did the panning shot. I don't know, but if it's not, then oh well. But that's pretty much just there because, again, it's the first time you see Super Saiyan 4. So, and he's kind of putting the works on Baby. Well, for like half the fight. So that's okay. Now, speaking of Goku, there's a lot of Goku fights on this list, by the way. Just spoiler alerting. Spoiler alert. Goku versus Cell. Now, the story itself, it's cool. The story, it's really not that. Goku goes first, that way Gohan can get to watch. Now, if we would have known that going in, it would have made that fight that much better. But since we didn't, it kind of ruins it for me. Like, now I know what's going in, it's like, you could have done that a lot better. But the animation, some of the quality, like this fight, instead of Vegeta versus Recoome, it shows a lot of like speed. You know what I mean? Like, Vegeta versus Recoome was a lot of power and impact and weight. Goku versus Cell is a lot of speed, timing, and just, oh my god, what's going on? You know what I mean? So if you watch certain clips, because some parts of the fight, you could tell that they switched to a different animation studio. But the highlight parts, yeah, them shits is fire. Now, I gotta put Gogeta versus Janemba on C. I was gonna put it in D, but honestly, I do enjoy it because I did rewatch the movie. And the fight itself, like, to be honest, there's like 4 different fights and they all last like 1 minute. So I'm gonna put them all in that one category. And to be fair, the story in that movie is kind of trash. It's not trash, but it's really not that good to me. And I like Vegito more, but even though I like Vegito more, that's not factoring in because Vegito's fights, to be fair, really weren't that good either. Like, Gogeta probably has the best fights in the series, and that's because he was in Dragon Ball Super. But enough of that fight. All the fights in Frieza Reborn, like I said, like lasted like a minute, so I can't honestly say that they were really anything story-wise, and the animation was cool, but you don't see enough of it. So that's why I said AMV worthy. So if you're making an AMV and you want to put Gogeta in there, I would use this fight as a basis. Speaking of that, I'm going to put, let's see, Gohan versus, what is it? I'm gonna put it right. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in A. I was gonna put it in B, but honestly, seeing Gohan actually unleash his rage and like not temper it, but like have a handle on it, and then actually have to work on that. Yeah, that was kind of smooth. And then the way that, if you see the fight, the way when he does the kill shots, it goes to like blue and black, and then it fades back in the normal coloring. And then the way he does the moves, he doesn't talk. He's all about action right now. Like, all the kill shots, they're brutal. They go in, they're clean, they're precise. And then, as I just said, you get to see Gohan actually start to fight using not his rage, but just be in the Saiyan mindset. And then everybody's like, oh my god, I didn't know Gohan could do that. And that shit's kind of cool, at least to me. Another great story fight. Well, honestly, I'm going to put this one here. To be honest, Vegeta versus Cell is actually a really good fight, honestly. And I'm actually gonna put it up here on S tier. No, I'm not. I don't watch it. I don't go back to rewatch it. The thing for me is what puts a fight in S tier or A tier, because obviously for me, if I'm putting in A tier, that means it's automatically gonna have great animations, AMC worthy, whatever, or AMV worthy. It's not like I have to justify, okay, it's an A rank, but it has shitty animation. No, if it's an A rank, that means I assume it has great animation and it has good impact on the story, in my opinion. So, Vegeta versus Cell. Whenever somebody wants to talk about Vegeta's character flaw, which is his pride and him wanting to be strong and prove himself, they use this fight as the main example. Like, oh, he could have beat Cell, but then he chose not to, and then he let Cell, even help Cell get stronger. Then he got his ass busted, and I mean busted, embarrassed, bodied. Go home, Vegeta. You gotta go. Like, it was just all bad, but it was a great moment in the show to realize that, hey, sometimes these characters are going to make stupid decisions, but these stupid decisions are still something that you would expect them to do. But it's just like, damn, Vegeta, that was fucked up. So honestly, this fight, it kind of goes underrated a little bit, but just for the sake of the story and like what it kind of showed us Vegeta able to do and would do, even though he's kind of done stuff like this before, it's never been this clear or this dumb but sense. So honestly, it's gotta go here, from my opinion. Going back to Vegeta, well, and Goku, I gotta put both these fights here. So we already know Goku versus Vegeta Saiyan Saga, probably one of the best fights, if not the best fights in the whole show. There's so many videos on YouTube about it. There's so many different theories and pieces, and you gotta right here, look at this detail, look at that detail. We're not, again, this is not that video. I don't know how long this is right now, but I gotta keep it short. But just to keep it very, you know, to my own opinion, even though I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of these other characters, I have to admit that when the show uses them effectively, it makes the whole thing look a lot better. Because even though I'm a big fan of Goku and Vegeta, I can still respect the fact that Krillin, Gohan, even Yajirobe played a big part in that fight, as well as just the epic scale. This is the first fight of this caliber in the series to that point. Goku versus Piccolo was there, but it was smaller in comparison. You know what I mean? And we finally get to see Vegeta in action, things like that. You know, we got to see Kaioken, we got to see Kamehameha versus Gallic Gun, the epic clash that started the rivalry, excuse me. Which, speaking of rivalry, continued all the way to the Buu Saga. Now, honestly, the story in this scene, the reason why it's in my S tier is because it's Goku and Vegeta. But the fight scene itself has some highlights and some low points. You get to see Goku's, I guess, sometimes a little bit of arrogance. You get to see Vegeta's cockiness, his, as we obviously see, his pride, as well as I'm going to include, for the sake of story, the scenes of him at the World Tournament and him saying, you know, one thing Saiyan always keeps is his pride. I'm going to put those scenes in there as like an asterisk. So just imagine those two, they're not included in the fight scene part, but those play a factor into why this fight is in my top 10. Because if you really look at Vegeta's character arc throughout the entire Buu Saga, speaking of that, let's just put that here too. Leading all the way into him versus Majin Buu, you really get to see how he takes himself. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get this dub against Goku, because that's how I feel. And then throughout the fight, you get to see, you know, he pours his heart to Goku like, you know, I was a lot more, you know, ruthless. Nah, I'm not. I don't fuck with that. Then you go all the way to Majin Buu. Like I just said, he hugs Trunks. He's trying to fight, you know, and he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna atone for my sins, quote unquote. And Piccolo's like, yeah, well, you're not coming back. He's like, all right, whatever. And he blows himself up. And there's that whole character arc of Vegeta, honestly. I think he's probably got the best character arc, or at least one of the more developed character arcs in the entire show. After that, however, like after this scene, where is it at on this list? I'm going to put this here, because it's not one of my favorites, but just for the sake of Vegeta having to, you know, be like, all right, Goku, you're the best. All right, I realize I'm second best. It's cool. I'm fine with it. I'm not mad. I promise you I'm not mad. I'm not crying. I'm not mad. You know? And then he has to, like, last for that whole minute, which a Dragon Ball minute, I'm going to be honest with you, a Dragon Ball minute is like 10 minutes in real life. So I can't really say too much about the fight. It's not the most entertaining, but story impact wise, it actually does play a part for me. Speaking of Vegeta, I'm just go through all these Vegeta fights right now. Why not? We're topic of Vegeta. All right. Now I always rewatch this fight. Honestly, just seeing Vegeta actually work somebody, like work, like you gotta go home, call off for the day because you're getting worked. Yeah, because he's just so in control this whole fight. The dodging, the pacing, and then sometimes the shaky camera, like when he does the kick and, you know, Pui Pui gets knocked on the wall, the shaky camera. And then Pui Pui, he tries to, you know, do the whole gravity switch thing. He's like, man, Vegeta's like, nah, I don't even feel it. And then he does the punches and then he hits him with the, I don't know what this move is called, but I'm going to call it the hug. Yeah. Again, story-wise, the fight, not really all that special. But just, I personally just watch this fight all the time, so it's got to go higher for me. Now, obviously, I got, oh, nope. Sorry. Went too ahead of myself. We're going to do all these Vegeta fights first. This fight, and I'm also going to put the Goku versus Golden Frieza fight here too. They're not, the fight itself, honestly, the story, it's not that good. The story is alright at best. But just the animation, the type of choreography, the way it was looked, like the quality in the movie, not the show. In the movie, watching it, the movie, like if you actually like go on YouTube and type the movie clips in, you'll see what I mean. Like the way that the characters move and the way that they actually fight in there is actually very crisp and very clear and concise. It's nowhere near the Dragon Ball Super Broly, but it's a step in the right direction, or I guess it was a step in the right direction. So if Dragon Ball Super looked like that the entire time, I bet you nobody would have any issues about the animation or anything like that. As well as Goku Vegeta versus Whis in the same style of animation, so that's also why it's there, but that's better story, so. Nope, sorry. This is why we're gonna do this unedited. That way you can see all these little mistakes and things like that. Vegeta fights. Now I gotta put it again. Vegeta versus 19. I watch this fight semi-regularly, only because you get to see Vegeta. Again, one of these fights where Vegeta just works him. Honestly, it's actually a B rank because the story is okay, but just scenes where Vegeta is actually working the opponent. Which, to be fair, he never really fights a big boss and wins. He either goes up against the smaller opponents and demolishes, or he goes up against the big guys and gets wrecked. But just like Vegeta versus Pui Pui, you get to see Vegeta actually curb stomp his opponent, control the whole pace of the fight. You get to see that his training montage, him going Super Saiyan. Well, depending on which version you watch. Then you get to see him rip off 19's arms. Oh, I low-key didn't even put Vegeta versus 18 on here. But that way, because you don't have to see me find all the pictures and all that. Because if they're not here, you don't even need to see me do all that, because that's a lot of extra energy. Neither one of us need to go through them. So just know that Vegeta versus 18 would also be in the A rank, but again, picture's not here. Realize I didn't put it there, so it's okay. Vegeta versus Toppo. Again, it's kind of the same thing as Vegeta versus Majin Buu, but just like Dragon Ball Z, it did it first, and Dragon Ball Super Loki just copied a lot of things from Dragon Ball Z. I didn't mean to be the one to tell you this if you didn't know it, but that's actually what happens. So honestly, if for Dragon Ball Super watching it, it was definitely really nice to see Vegeta actually go up against Toppo, the God of Destruction. He was losing, and then when he was on the wall, had to think about his family, all that. He got that Saiyan power up, then he was able to work Toppo. You know, he did the little God of Destruction, negative punch, whatever you want to call that shit. Went through it, and he did the whole, what is it called? Final Destruction, Final Atonement? Whatever that move is called. Look at the game, because I don't know. They change that move every 6 months. When he did that and he came back up and beat Toppo, yep. I'm not gonna lie. Watching Super, that shit is cool. But watching it again, you could probably just watch the Vegeta versus Majin Buu fight and just get the same effect and better, because it was done first. There's more at stake, whatever else. But the fight is still good in my opinion. Actually, I'm gonna put this in great animation because the story is the same as that, but not the same. So I am gonna put Vegeta versus Beerus though at A. No, I'm gonna put an S. Only reason I'm gonna put it at S is because it's the first time you saw Vegeta actually really proclaim his love for Bulma. You don't see that. Well, you don't really see that in Dragon Ball, period. But just for Vegeta, it was even especially shocking. He got that power boost. They said he was stronger than Goku, which honestly, I don't know. That's to be argued. I'm not really here to be a power level guy, so we could discuss that different day. But just seeing him actually hold his own against Beerus for like what, 5 seconds, which I don't think he really held his own. Like Beerus was like, oh snap. Then he started working him again. But for the My Bulma scene and then the like subsequent 10 seconds that followed it, it's probably up there, my favorites. I don't know. It's like, it's right between A and S. So I'm gonna put it in A, and if I need some more space to fill out favorites, then we're gonna do that. So honestly, oh, I didn't even put Gohan versus Majin Buu on here, or Super Buu. I don't like well, I like Ultimate Gohan as a form and character more, only because of Tenkaichi 3 and, you know, Dragon Ball Fighters and things like that. But I can't be that guy and say that Ultimate Gohan is better than Teen Gohan, because he's not. Teen Gohan is probably the best form of Gohan, age-wise, character-wise, power-wise, that you're ever gonna get. But after that, his arc ended. But this whole fight, which I really don't understand, I'm only gonna get into this here a little bit. Gohan doesn't like fighting. So him not actually wanting to fight Cell and him being reluctant to fight, that makes sense for him. You know what I mean? But when he woke up, he got in Cell's ass. Boy, man, listen. Cell was getting worked on. Then Gohan was all in his Saiyan mode, like, you know what, I'm gonna toy with him. And then he was like talking to Goku like, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna just do what I gotta do, he'll be good. Then Cell was gotten mad at that nigga. Then he threw the what was it, the Solar Kamehameha, that's what I'm gonna call it. And then he looked up at him and hit him with his level 1. Stop it. And then we all know about the father-son Kamehameha struggle. I don't need to go into that right now. You know it, I know it, the comment section knows it. Cool, we don't need to go back into that. But this is obviously one of the best fights in the series, just like Goku versus Frieza is one of the best fights in the series. Again, there's so many more people who could say more about it in this video than I can, and I'll get into it, why I think all these fights are where they are in a different video. Because again, we're probably running really close on the time frame. I can't see a timer, but I can promise you we're already running a little too long. So just to wrap it up, or at least wrap my opinions on this fight up, the timing, I'll admit, the pacing is a little stretched, I'll admit. But I think that adds to the epic scale and the way they were trying to go with this fight, of it being like Goku versus the Tyrant. There's nothing else. Like, there's supposed to be no one else after this, but as we all know, that's not what happened. So for me, I feel like seeing Goku having a struggle against arguably the strongest person in the universe at the time, it was definitely a sight to behold. There's literally nothing he could do. Like Kaioken times 20, that whole transformation, or I guess that whole power up, useless. Goku having to be like, all right, I'm getting work. He's not even trying. Oh man. And then obviously him having to go Super Saiyan, seeing Krillin get killed, him fighting Frieza, then working him. That whole thing was just top notch. Like I said, the only thing I could say that would make it like go down is the pacing, but I think sometimes slow pacing can add to the whole experience if it's done well. Another one of my favorite fights is Future Trunks versus 17 and 18. And I'm gonna put the Future Trunks versus Cell arc, or not arc, the whole fight, because him going back to the past, going to deal with his past trauma and his past insecurities and his past failures with a new sense of, not relief, but a new sense of like way of looking at the world, a new power set, a new confidence. That's just for me, like, Future Trunks needed that, and he still needs it, because in Super they just like took that and then like threw it away and then redid it again, and it doesn't make sense. Like, but we're not even gonna get in the Super fight right now, because even I forgot the picture, but Goku Black versus Future Trunks in the beginning, that was supposed to go in the animation section, because the animation that is top notch. But again, I don't have the picture, so we're not gonna talk about it here. But Future Trunks versus 17 and 18, you get to see him, like, he's not even worried about fighting them. That's how much stronger he's gotten than that version, which that was no, they were actually weaker than our version of F17 and 18. But just overall, getting to see him go back, I guess it would be going forward in time or going back in time. Anyway, seeing him go back to his future and actually saving it without any, like, nothing else happening, like, I finished it, thanks guys. Again, that's gotta be one of my favorites in the whole show. Now, this is gonna be a little controversial. Maybe, I don't know. But I gotta say that Trunks vs. Frieza is a good story moment, but as a fight scene, it's really not that good. Like, it's only good for the what is it, Burning Slash, Shining Slash, whatever that move is called. That's all the move. That's all that little fight scene is good for. For story wise, it's all right, but it kind of just makes Frieza looks weak and Trunks look way stronger than he needs to be, because as we all see in like what 15, 20 episodes later, Trunks is weak as fuck. So again, it's only good for that one scene. But that one scene, like that one little move, makes me like Trunks way more, because that's what Trunks should have been the whole time, but just improved upon, not kind of what we got. But I'll get into that when I go into a Trunks video. I only got a couple more fights to go, so I'm gonna put this here, honorable mentions, only because honestly I kind of forgot that I put this picture in here, and I don't even remember why I put it here. But I do like the setup of Goku versus Goku, and him having to fight somebody who was arguably like him, looks like him, but not really. But again, I can't remember why I put this fight in here, so we're just gonna skip that. We're gonna go to Vegito versus Boo, which honestly, the fight itself, even though I like Vegito, this fight isn't even all that cool anymore. Like, rewatching it, there's only like what 2 minutes at best of the fight itself. So I gotta be honest with you, it's really not all that. Like, I like Vegito, but if I'm being honest, it could be a whole lot better. Now, honestly, the Vegito versus Zamasu fight, it takes what I like about Boo, the Boo fight, and then does it a little bit better. But the way it was written in the story, like the retcon, the way that he defused, and some other stuff like that, it just, I felt like that fight was rushed. For what they gave us, it was great. Like, that was probably some of the best animation in Super, either period or at the time. But looking back at it, even though those sections are great, it felt like that part of the fight was rushed. Like, all right, we need to put Vegito in here, things like that. So he just kind of, there's like, here's a check mark. Vegito, Kaki, do the sword, do a Kamehameha, overpower the villain. And then they just check the box and they're like, all right, defuse. So I feel like if they would have took the time more like they did in the Gogeta fight when he fought Broly, then it would be a lot better. But neither here nor there. Now, I got to put my boy Piccolo in here. So even though I'm not the biggest fan of Piccolo anymore, I still am a Piccolo fan, but honestly, they don't really do him a lot of justice in these fights or in the show anymore. So it's kind of hard for me to like Piccolo more than the Saiyans. But this is Piccolo's highlight scene. This is Piccolo's, like, this is it. If you like Piccolo, this is all you gonna get. Oh, minus him versus Frieza, second form. Those two moments are probably Piccolo's greatest things. Greatest fight scenes he's ever contributed to the show. But I'm not going to put Piccolo versus Frieza here, mainly because I forgot about it until just now. And two, it doesn't do anything better than Piccolo versus 17, because this is when he was using tactics. He was actually on an equal level. You saw him had the fuse with Kami, so we got that power boost. And yeah, that's pretty much Piccolo's shining moment. Now we're going to go to Goku versus Beerus. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like this fight much at first when I first watched it, but now going back at it and looking at it, the animation is actually really top notch. Well, for that era of Dragon Ball, as well as the story of seeing Goku get to a higher level of power that no one else could get at the time. Well, they were going to later, but couldn't get it. And then he wasn't satisfied. Like, I've never seen Goku get somewhere, get a level of power, and then be like, it's not that cool, or I kind of wish there was more to it. And seeing him not being so satisfied and him being like, I'm not really interested. I was like, oh, okay. And then he actually gave Vegeta props. Sorry, I thought my door opened and I was like, I don't know who's here. But anyway, seeing him give Vegeta props and like actually like, okay, yeah, I know he tried against you and you know, he humiliated himself in front of you, but I respect him for that. You know, just that whole fight, like as a story-wise. And then I almost forgot him losing the power and then having him absorb the power into a Super Saiyan. Or I guess his base form, which I think that's better than how they handled it in the manga. But again, a whole different story. That's killer to me. At least, that's how I feel. So sometimes you got to take a second to rewatch these fights as a whole and rewatch the show. Then really see where you think these fights are at. Because sometimes you might be like, oh, I thought this fight was really good. And then you might rewatch and be like, oh, it's actually trash. Then you might get the opposite, this shit's trash, and you find out, oh my god, shit's godlike. And then we got 2 more to go. Goku versus Boo, the whole thing. Honestly, as a story, it's not the best, But the animation, like I've said a lot of times, the way that Goku is fighting, the way that they did the cuts, and him going into like high impact moves and using some moves and tactics I've never really seen him do, like him doing the thing where he shot Kid Buu in the ground, the Kamehameha, him doing a thing where he actually used his what would you call it? His head tail? I'm gonna call it his head tail, and wrapped it around while hitting him with the knee. Like, and it's him actually being like on his last leg, so to speak, for that time. Again, I gotta put it there because honestly, in AMVs, no, I'm gonna put it in AMV worthy because honestly, for the story, I can't really remember anything about the story, but it's definitely good for AMVs. And then I gotta put Goku versus Jiren here, the first part. So before he went Mastered Ultra Instinct, which is the Super Saiyan White, which I don't like. I prefer my Ultra Instinct with the shirt on, black hair, because that's when it was actually, it meant something. It wasn't just a Goku versus Frieza, which that's what Goku versus Jiren is. It's just a Frieza fight redone. But the animation when he first did it, when he walked through the blast, he what was it? Dispo and Topo? I think that's when he threw them when they kicked him, and he did like the whole like. And Bruce Leroy, I got the glow throw. And then he hit Jiren with the whole kick and then dodge. Like the first like 5-10 minutes of him going to Ultra Instinct the first time, probably the best time he's ever gone Ultra Instinct because the animation was top notch, camera angles, different ways of fighting, and all that. So with that being said, we finally made it through all these fights. Like I said, it was an unscripted video, so there's a lot of stuttering, a lot of mumbles, whatever. I want to try something different. I don't know how it's going to turn out. If you want to see more tier list videos, again, you just got to let me know which ones you want to do, or if I think of some, I'll let you know, or I guess by let you know, I'll post a video, things of that nature. Thanks for making to the end of the video. I don't know if you agree with this list or not. I'm going to take a guess and probably say you don't. So you can talk to me about it in the comments section. Just remember, it's the comments section, so I guess do what you got to do. If you want to be a dickhead about it, I'm not going to stop you, but I hope you don't. If you want to be a nice person about it, I prefer that, but again, you do what you got to do. With that being said, I'll catch you on the next video. Peace. Oh, actually, before I forget, welcome to the Static Gang. If you made it this far, I feel you're going to be a future subscriber. I don't know for sure, but I got a feeling between me and you might come back again. So I'll see you on the next video. Now, peace.